All right, so this is the new Scream 2022. It's directed by Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillette. And if there's one thing I could definitely say right off the bat, welcome back, January. I missed you. I don't know if I reviewed anything in, last January, but yeah, this feels like a January movie to me. This is bad, and I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. So it starts off with Tara Carpenter, played by Jenna Ortega. She's in a house and she gets a call. She's texting her friend. She gets a call on the landline. Her parents aren't home. There are barely any parents, I think, in this. It's almost like Charlie Brown world. She gets a call. It's Ghostface, and they start having like trivia about horror movies, but also the horror movie that's based on the Scream movies. I think it's called Stab or something like that. So he starts playing a game with her, and we're like, okay, starts asking her questions about that movie, the different characters, Sidney Prescott, stuff like that. So eventually he gets in, starts stabbing, obviously. So now that character's friends and sister, who's kind of the main character, Sam Carpenter, played by Melissa Barrera, they have to figure out who's the actual killer. And obviously they're saying different things about horror movies. Oh, you can't go by yourself here, you can't do this. And just like the original movie, they're like, don't go here alone, don't trust anyone. Oh, you could be the killer, you have a motive. I mean, you have a motive. I mean, it could be you. I mean, it's always the love interest. I mean, they do a lot of that stuff like the original movie. Old characters come back. Dewey, played by David Arquette, Gail Weathers, Courtney Cox, and the main character from the original, Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell. They come back and they're kind of helping them try to figure out what's going on here. And that's pretty much it. And there's some commentary about sequels and franchise and stuff like that, kind of like the newest Matrix movie did. So positives. I like Ghostface. I thought he had a really. I liked his voice. And I thought that was well done. And I actually like the kills. The kills are really good. And they're tense and they're gory and they're graphic. Some of them. And I liked it. I won't lie. Like there's characters that get cut up their stomach and blood just flushed out. It was a good idea to make this rated R, because if it wasn't, this would be pretty worthless. Uh, there's a part where a character gets stabbed in the neck. You're just watching him go down as it's just in his neck, and yeah, so that stuff actually for me worked. The kills for the most part, the kills worked. The old characters that come back, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell, I think they're pretty good, even though Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox don't really do that much until the very end, and it does really feel forced into this. If it would have just been the Dewey character coming back, then I could have been like, all right, then that feels a little bit natural. Those other two didn't need to be in this movie at all. That is it. That is all my positives. This movie, it's a lazy sequel that nobody really asked for or needed, but it knows it is, so it tries to be almost clever about it by like saying, "Oh well, you can't just do a sequel. You have to do a requel, which is a reboot slash sequel, and you got to bring back the original characters. And, it's just it's nonstop. The characters are not characters. Like these new characters, these new kids, these new teens, they're as one dimensional as they could possibly be. They're there to either give exposition about themselves or about their relationships with each other, because they're not developed almost at all, or they're there to make like to say this like commentary. So there's a character that gets up and just goes on a monologue about about other franchises and being requels and things like that. Well, you can't just do a sequel and bringing up Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Terminator, and things like that. It's like you're not being clever, and as a matter of fact, you're worse than most of those movies you're bringing up. To be honest, I don't know how people are feeling about this, but this is probably one of the worst of the forced cash grab sequels that I can think of. To be honest, there's even a character, because that's a joke with sequels where it's like, oh, if it happened again. There's a character that literally calls up another character, one of the older characters from the original, and goes, "It happened again." Like literally, he said that it's happening again. And I was like, man, like, like it just feels so forced. The characters, I couldn't get attached with any of them. Who's really doing this? Who the killer is? It's as obvious as it could possibly be, and it doesn't really fully make sense. But the worst part about it is I didn't care who it was because I don't care about any of these characters. I don't care about anything going on. It's like a it's like a redo of the original movie, but with new characters and with self awareness. But that's not enough for anything. It's just not. Logic has gone out the window. There's a character that gets stabbed right in the stomach. The character is still alive and well and is sitting up talking to the other characters within like a day or a few days. I don't even think it was any time at all. And then the characters even getting up on crutches not even that long after that. It's like, what are we talking about? Anyway, I'm not going to spoil that completely, but that was ridiculous. Ghostface can like teleport at certain points or disappear, right? Ghostface is killing people in broad daylight. One of the characters dies in broad daylight in front of their house. It's like it's ridiculous. It's to the point where it ends up, and I guess this could be kind of a spoiler, but I think it might be in the trailer. It ends up at the house from the ending of the first Scream, and obviously there's a purpose for that, but whatever. There's a Sidney Prescott, I'm pretty sure, says, "Oh, this is kind of derivative." I was like, "Well, yeah, you're right. Just because you're making comments on it doesn't mean it's okay." We're seeing this with all of these sequels. Home Sweet Home Alone did it. Other movies have done it, where Matrix Resurrections, like I said, where you think that it's okay or you're dodging criticism by pointing it out in the movie, in the dialogue. You're not. You're doing the same shit and you're doing it badly. It'd be one thing if this movie was good. It's not. Rather than a character watching, I think Halloween was the first movie. A character is instead watching Stab or whatever the fucking movie is in this movie that's based on what happened in the original, and it looks awful. It is embarrassing. It looks like a porn parody. I was like, wow, you want to talk about disrespectful to the original? Man, oh my god, it was so obnoxious. The fans, the fandom, what about the radicalized, toxic fans that, oh, this is disrespectful to the original. You didn't bring back the original characters and this and that. Oh man, God help the person that makes a sequel that disrespects the original or something. It is cringy. It is terrible. It is so on the nose. I mean, there is no subtlety at all. The character is literally there to do that. Because the character that does that, she doesn't do almost anything else. It is, it is infuriating. I mean, it really is. I was getting so fucking mad. I think that's all I really had. It's January. It's a bad January movie. Once again, I was baffled by how bad this was, man. Like some of the acting and obviously the dialogue's awful. The kills are good, but for the most part, everything else just completely falls flat. I didn't care about the reveal. There's this secret with one of the characters that gets revealed pretty early on that I thought was completely lame throughout the rest of the movie. It's awful. You brought these old characters back. You're doing the same shit. You almost reenact the same scenes from the original movie. You're not. This isn't clever just because you make comments about it. It's not. This is a cash grab sequel. You're not fooling anyone. You're not. This is bad. And I'm so close to giving it my bottom rating, but I won't go that far. I'll just give it utter trash and move on. But man, it is real close. Like real close to getting my bottom rating. I really did not like this at all. But anyway, that's Scream 2022. And we're done.